Hey everyone, Mike Miller with the Herald Times, joined by special guest Josh Margolis from Inside the Hall, filling in for InsideTheHall.com. I think everyone knows. Josh filling in for Jeremy Price, who was on soccer duty this afternoon, coming to you here after a 86-77 Indiana win over Howard, the first win of the Archie Miller era.
Yes, that's an apt description.
A milestone deferred.
Yeah, they got it done. It wasn't easy. It wasn't, but they found a way to score more points than Howard, which is something you should do when they're a bottom 10 team coming into this one.
They found a way in large part with the help from the freshman class, Al Durham, Justin Smith, each of whom had 16 points to complement a 17-point performance from Deron Davis, new career high for Davis. It was an important production from IU's underclassmen, especially considering this was the second consecutive game this year, second time in as many tries, that Rob Johnson and Josh Newkirk have really kind of struggled to put together two halves of consistent play in the backcourt for IU. Really, it kind of points to maybe the larger idea that new year, new system, new coach, with all this, all the change, so many things that guys like Rob Johnson, a four-year starter, Josh Newkirk, a senior himself, so many things that they were told to do, expected to do over the last couple of years at least. It's all been kind of wiped away with a clean slate here. There are new expectations, new responsibilities, new roles for those guys, and maybe taking them just a little bit more time to navigate that learning curve, whereas you have freshmen like Smith and Durham who can kind of just step in here and essentially just do what they've been asked to do right off the bat.
Well said. IU needed both of them tonight. If both of them didn't come out and play like they did, who knows what happens. Durham, Archie Miller's raved about him from day one, pretty much.
Actually, yeah.
And you could see why. There's this pure point guard in him, and he struggled with the shot in scrimmage, struggled with the shot in the exhibitions in the first game. Today, still, for a team that, and people in the media, us possibly included, said, this team might be lacking some confidence. One person that isn't is Al Durham. Shooting threes, making smart passes into the post, just the right play at the right time.
He's got that kind of freshman swagger to a degree that we saw with Devontae Green last year, and it's not
totally in
uncommon with
freshmen.
Totally different style, but it's not uncommon, I guess, for freshmen to just, for lack of a better term, just not know any better, just kind of come in here and play as they think they should, and often there's some flair and some sizzle to it. And we saw that from Durham. Durham is a guy, as we saw him kind of come up as a high school guy, obviously been committed since, I think, October 2015, so he's been on the IU radar for a while. A guy who really had an uneven shot as we saw him during the AAU days. At times it just seemed like maybe the footwork or the release just wasn't consistently where it needed to be, but those are obviously fixable things. And today showed a good shooting stroke from outside, hit a couple corner threes, was able to slash and dash through the paint at times as well. Meanwhile, Justin Smith really helped IU break down the Howard zone during the first half, occupying the high post and getting a couple baskets midway through to really help IU attack the zone with an effectiveness that we haven't always consistently seen.
Well, yeah, Indiana, desperate need of bigs,
yeah.
Especially now after 5 minutes today. Juwan Morgan out with an ankle injury. I know you were close to the court, so you want to explain exactly what happened there?
Well, it looked like Juwan went up to contest a shot and came down, got kind of tangled up with a bison and
not a literal, yeah, but
I know. Sorry, got tangled up with a guy and sprained his ankle planting, or it seems. So he didn't return after that. His status for Wednesday's game at Seton Hall unclear, but probably in doubt. I think it's safe to say. So, see you, Rabbi. So, yeah, this a night like this from Smith is not only needed but encouraging, understanding the road ahead.
No, and it's a good learning experience, this kind of game, especially before feet really in the fire, Seton Hall Wednesday for Smith with no Morgan, presumably. He came in there, banged up with the big boys inside, got crucial rebounds, 12 rebounds total, 3 offensive. Just another, just putting him in a situation they needed him. He produced big time. 8 of 12 shooting. That's better than IU did on free throws today.
And Yeah, it was. We'll get to that in a second.
But, he's got a college-ready body already. He came here with that. He's got hops.
That's kind of why you thought, when you look at this freshman class, why Justin Smith was most likely, the most likely freshman to make an early impact, just because of his physical build. I mean, he's got, like you said, a college body, and even last year showed that he's a willing and able rebounder, which we've seen early from him. But it is concerning going forward, just looking at this front court, down Colin Hartman and down expected to miss Juwan Morgan this week too, going into a matchup against that seems to be a strength for Seton Hall is their front court play, so to say the least. So you're really going into this game with Deron Davis and Justin Smith and Freddie McSwain in your front court, and hoping for the best.
Who else is Clifton and
I saw Clifton Moore. Clifton Moore made his debut.
What
tonight.
was the Archie? The first thing we really heard him say after the statement came out, deer on ice skates.
Oh, on Clifton Moore.
Yeah.
Like Bambi on ice, I think is what he said.
No, I think a deer rollerblading or roller skating.
That's
what the first possession looked like.
Yeah.
Because he got the ball and
he just kind of lost
pretty
it.
Much his footwork was not there and lost it. So, and maybe he'll get more minutes as the season goes along tonight. He didn't get any in the first game. He had 6 tonight. Didn't make a shot. Had a rebound, offensive, assist, a turnover, 2 blocks. You can see the potential there.
Yeah, long, athletic guy, has a reputation for, or has upside apparently as a shooter too. But really, they need him to add weight, and that's going to take some time. Obviously, take probably a year or so before he's really able to really tap into that potential. But I'm sorry, you mentioned the deer and ice skates. I'm just thinking like the SNL skit with Brian Fellows.
That predates me.
Okay, yeah, God, way too young. What else did we learn today?
We learned that IU has 14-0 against the MEAC.
We also learned IU continues. They got to figure out their 3-point shooting defense. It's 33 pointers in 2 games by IU
out of 60 attempts, which is
50%.
No, 50%. That's 1 out of every 2 that their opponents made.
It's exactly the math. Anyway, this was in these first 2 games, there's no doubt that some of these shots have been lucky shots.
Like what? Let's put a percentage on it. Like 20% of them lucky, 15% lucky.
Yeah, I'd say the 15-20% of these shots of the made 3-pointers have been shots where you're just like, what? I mean, what Howard had a dude today. What was his name? Kyle Foster.
Yeah.
Kid was shooting from like 25. I exaggerated my tweet, 30 feet, but I mean, really, he was out there Jordan Hall's range today, just making some crazy shots, just heaving them up essentially. But by and large, it's something that Indiana's going to have to figure out moving forward. There's no doubt about that. Also, free throw shooting was not good at all. Not at all. 12 for 29 at the line today. Missed each of the first 7 free throws to start the day, including 5 in a row from Deron Davis. It was beyond ugly. It was.
This game was pretty ugly.
It was, honestly. It was. It's not. Howard hung around. Basically, I mean, it took a run at the end of the first half for Indiana to really create separation that they rode throughout because Howard was back and forth the entire second half.
Still single digits in the final minute.
Yeah, so it's a win. It helps you erase the bad taste of Friday night, but it's further evidence once again that this is going to be a work in progress for this Indiana team.
You don't need me to tell you this, but obviously they needed this win going into Seton Hall. Now 1-1 on the season. It's going to be a challenge,
to say the least. Josh.
It's you're going into an opponent's gym, and you're down 2 bigs, and they've got really good bigs on the Seton Hall team, the Pirates. What's their official mascot? Is it just the Seton Hall Pirates? No, it's not.
It's Pirates, right?
It's Seton Hall Pirateers.
Oh my God. Anyway, yes, that is the next game. IU at Seton Hall Wednesday night, 6:30, I think. This was a weird 8 o'clock Sunday night tip-offs. Weird 6:30.
8:12 tip-off.
Yeah, thanks, Wisconsin. So we are here. It's a little after midnight here, and I think with that we'll wrap it up. But suffice to say, it was obviously good to get a win from an Indiana perspective, but certainly some concerns raised going into this game Wednesday. What are you circling?
Oh, well, thanks for asking. Robert Johnson, 999 points on his career. He needed 22 coming into the season, so he scored 21. Next basket, he'll be the 51st player in program history.
You'd think he'd get that Wednesday night, which is where we will see you next.
You will. I won't be
at
there.
the Prudential Center in Newark. See you there.